Yes, guys, so I wanted to basically put together a video today, which is like an extension from a video which I did in February, which was probably like 2.5 months ago now. And in that video, I spoke about how I basically turned my life around in terms of like my job, my career, my coaching, the business I have now, and obviously falling out of shape and getting back into it. But I never really went into the specifics of like, how did I go from shit to fit, right? How did I go from falling out of shape to get myself back in it? Because I speak to so many guys and girls on a weekly basis, or at least a bi-weekly basis, that the biggest thing that I'm hearing is like, I used to be in shape. You know, maybe if you're listening to this, you're probably 25 plus, or in your 30s or in your 40s. You was in better shape when you're in your late teens, in your early 20s. And then guess what's happened, right? The same with me. Life's got busy, there's more responsibilities, there's less time on your hands, there's more stress, there's other priorities, and your fitness takes a bit of a backseat, and then you fall out a little bit out of shape. And then now you're like, shit, I'm getting a little bit older. I don't feel good like I did when I was younger. Maybe going to work and the buttons aren't doing up as nice, or maybe the belt's getting a little bit too tight, and you're starting to notice these things, right? Like for me, it was falling out of shape, and I was like, right, my t-shirts are a little bit too baggy, and I wanted to like feel a bit more comfortable, or like I'm trying things on before I'm going out a night out. I'm like, it shouldn't take this long or this many clothes changes for me to feel comfortable. This was a couple of years ago when I'd lost a lot of muscle, and then I'd just try and cover that up and hide the fact that I don't look as good anymore. And I was like, these are the people I talk to on a daily basis. So like, this video is going to inspire you guys. And even if you haven't been in shape before and you're trying to get in shape now for the first time, this is still applicable and you might find this helpful. So my journey starts with when I was 17, when I started training, because I was the weediest and skinniest kid ever. Trust me when I say I must have been like 65 kilos, I'm guessing. And I'm like 6'1" back then. And I was at uni, and I remember I was the skinniest guy in the class, and I knew that we was doing a bench press competition. I'm going to move this here because my back is absolutely killing me. So I know we were going to do this bench press competition, and I'd never been in the gym before. So for about 2 weeks leading into it, maybe it was like a month, I don't remember because it was so long ago now. It was like 13 years ago. I was shitting myself. I was nervous. I was like, I'm going to go into this class and I'm going to be the weakest guy there. I can't even do like 5 or 10 push-ups. And I remember trying to do push-ups every day for a week before, just thinking I'm just going to gain strength. Didn't know much about it. I thought, well, I'll be able to be stronger. I'll be able to do better. Out of the whole class, it must have been like 30 plus, maybe like 30 people, just under or just over. There was 3 girls. I was the weakest in there. And that, I remember like just holding the barbell was the most foreign thing to me. And it was shaking, my arms were shaking, and I was like, how the hell am I that weak? No, everybody had a little bit of weight, even if it was 1.25 kilos, I couldn't even do that. That puts into perspective how weak I was at the time. And obviously that took a massive knock on my confidence, but that was the moment for me. I was like, I need to get in the gym. So I started getting into the gym, and it was the best thing I ever did. I fell in love with it straight away. I don't know how I got into powerlifting, but for me, it was just about getting strong. So like the squat, the bench, the deadlift. Fast forward, I know before I hit 20, so like 2 years and like 3 quarters later, I was doing this powerlifting routine, eating loads of food, gained like 15 plus kilos, and I was benching like 100 kilos for 4 reps. It was the wildest thing ever. I was like, how the fuck have I been that weak to like this strong? And what that did for my confidence was ridiculous. And it was an amazing moment. And then I went to uni. Once I've been to uni, I went traveling for like a year in Asia. Enjoyed myself, didn't train, fell out of like not massively, but like I gained obviously a lot of body fat, mainly lost strength and whatnot. But I was okay when I got back. The issue was I come back and I just started pushing hard. I was working a labouring job at the time, so I was doing a lot of manual work. I was physically fatigued all the time, trying to do my old powerlifting stuff, trying to do some bodybuilding splits, just basically trying everything. It was like I'd lost my sense, and I didn't remember how I got in shape before. So I was just trying all these things, pushing really hard, picked up loads of injuries, and that was the start of the decline. I picked up these injuries. I was having knee pain, shoulder pain, couldn't really sleep on one of the sides. It was that bad at night. And that fear drove me away from training, and I just stopped training for like maybe 5 or 6 months. And I literally, I cannot believe, like, hopefully, I don't know if I can put the pictures on here. I'll try if you can't see them, so I haven't figured it out. I'm not that great with technology. But
yeah, I fell out of shape. I was super, super skinny, like almost as skinny as I was when I was younger. And it was a massive knock on my confidence. It was like my confidence was low. My mood was low. I just felt, I don't want to say I was depressed because like, I feel like that's a strong word to use, but I close enough. Like I was very unhappy, I'd say. And then I was like, right, I need to get this sorted. So I found a online rehab coach because I asked a friend and he helped me with that. This Irish guy called Luke. If you listen to this, you're a legend. Thank you. You've changed my life. That was a start. And phase one for me was just get out of pain. So we worked on that, and it was, I won't lie to you, it was tough. When I say tough, I don't mean like I was pushing hard. It wasn't that. It was mentally tough. To be able to go in and face your pain, the thing that's been driving you away from training, thinking you're going to make it worse, trying to lift on some days, but the pain's really high, and then you're like getting frustrated. And sometimes in my brother's garage gym, and I was like shouting and hitting the barbell and slapping it. I was like, why the fuck can't I just do this? And it was the most frustrating. It's the hardest, it's the most patience I've ever built in my life. Like, if anything in my life has taught me patience more than business or even building my body, it's been like rehab, because it was a really long process. But thankfully, we got it sorted. We got myself out of pain, and that kickstarted my journey again. So phase one for me was get out of pain, right? Once I got out of pain, it was setting the foundation. So this is what I'm going to walk you through now, and how I've done things is literally the blueprint of how I do things with my clients. Obviously, I just individualize it to them, their calendars, their nutrition, their training, and stuff like that. Phase one was getting lean. The reason why I wanted to get lean, I wanted to get to 10% or close enough body fat, or even to 15% for some clients, what I'll do, is because that is the most optimal range for you to be in to then build muscle. Think of it this way. If I started trying to build muscle when I was already carrying some body fat and I was skinny fat, I probably would have been fine. But I know that in 5 months' time, I'm probably going to be having love handles or actually fat, you know? So I didn't want to be that. So what this allowed me to do is get really lean, which put my body in the best position to build muscle. Not just that, but it meant that I knew I could gain a kilo a month, and in a year's time, I'm still going to be lean. I'm still going to have some level of abs, and that's exactly what happened. So my setup at the time was training just 3 days a week to start with, rebuilding my strength. And when I tell you the patience was real, like I had to be okay with the fact that I was nowhere near as strong as I used to be, and it was taking a lot longer than what it used to be, and that was frustrating. But I just stuck to the process. I committed to it, and I accepted that this is not going to be an overnight process, and that was important for me to do. Setting the expectation. So phase one, got really lean. Phase two, started my building phase. I spent a whole year building muscle, building strength, just focusing on performance, training 3 to 4 days a week in that phase, and making sure I was in a calorie surplus. I must have been regularly around 3,200 calories. And again, I was gaining like 1 kilo a month. So I'd literally gone from 70 kilos to 82 kilos in body fat. And here's the thing, this is how I know I did it right and where most people go wrong. I did it right because I was 82 kilos and I could still see my abs. Most people would just gain 12 kilos and they're probably just gained a lot of body fat and only a little bit of muscle mass. So that for me was like, it had to happen. I had to rebuild my strength, rebuild my muscle. Once I've done that after a year, I then focused on a mini cut. So not saying I do this to every client, but I just took an 8-week diet. I went in really hard. I lost like 8 kilos and I got really lean and I reset the cycle. And then what I've been doing ever since then, that was phase 3, is phase 4 now is my next phase of performance, where I've now gained another 8 kilos or so again back. And I'm leaner than I was when I was 82 kilos last time, when I am this time. So every single time, this is my goal. I'm always working on building as much muscle and strength as possible, cutting the body fat back, and I'll build back up again. And I'm trying to compare myself at like 82 kilos or 85 kilos to myself last time. And every time I should look a little bit leaner, a little bit bigger, and I should be a little bit stronger. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm happy with my progress. I'm not content, but I'm happy with it. I'm proud of the progress I've made. But it's understanding that building a great body takes time. And this is something I had to learn the hard way. I built it much quicker when I was younger. But again, I had zero stress, which affects a lot of things. I had a lot of time on my hands, I could train more. I didn't have to prep. I could just cook every single meal as it was. basically it was a lot easier for me then. Like you, right? This time round's been harder because I've got a business. I have a lot of clients to coach. I have other priorities. I have less time on my hands. And also I don't want to train 5, 6, 7 days a week. Like I still train every day, but it's more like cardio, half and half with training. I don't want to be in the gym 7 days a week like I used to. I don't want to walk around feeling like battered all the time because my legs are killing me from a heavy leg day. That's not things that I enjoy anymore. So it's been the biggest test of like patience. It's been the biggest test of that. And it's also been the most rewarding. I felt like when I was younger and I was in that shape, I was young, I was naive, I never appreciated it, I never enjoyed it. What I'm loving now is, although I'm not where I want to be, I feel confident again. I'm happy to take my top off. I feel comfortable with my clothes and I'm not trying to cover up. And I feel like I really am myself again. And the biggest impact it's then had is like how I feel every day, my energy, my focus, my productivity, how that has a knock-on effect with my coaching, my relationships, all these things improve. And for me, I thought this journey was actually about building the muscle back, and it was. But actually, for me, the biggest thing has been like building back self-belief that I can do it. Because at one point, there was that one stage when I restarted the journey again, when I was like in the gym, I was rehabbing, and I was getting setback after setback after setback. And I was like, I'm doing like 5 kilo dumbbell press. I'm like, this is ridiculous. How am I ever going to get back to this again? And my self-belief just went like that, right? And what I realize now is this journey has, although I've been building muscle and building my body back, it's been about bringing my belief up again, believing in who I am, having control over my fitness and health. And that has changed everything in terms of my life as well. So that's been my journey. That's how I've done it. And if there's one thing you can take away from this, is that if you're stuck right now, if you're either never been in shape, you're on that journey and you're stuck and you're training a lot, you're putting all the effort and you're not really seeing the progress that you want, or if you've been in shape before, you never got to the level you wanted to and you fell out of shape and you're trying to think out, how do I juggle this now with the life that I've got? I understand how you feel. I understand the difficulties of that. Just appreciate that getting back to where you was and beyond that is possible. So don't give up, but it's going to take time. It's going to take patience. It's going to take work. A lot of people don't get to where they want to be because they're not willing to put the work in. If you can just be willing to be patient, put the work in, show up every single day without expecting anything, I promise you, you will get to where you want to be. Just appreciate that it's not going to be a 2, 3, 4 month job. It's going to take longer. For me, it's taken 2 years. I'm still not where I want to be. I'm not thinking about where I'm going to be in a month's time or 2. All I'm thinking about is 4, 5, 6 years time. Play that long term, that long game mindset, and it's going to serve you so well. And of course, if you are stuck right now and you have been pushing and you're not getting to where you want to be, it's probably not the effort, right? I know you probably train really hard. And like for me, it wasn't the effort. It was like, what do I actually do? So if you are stuck, I have got a free guide. It's literally a guide that's going to help you build muscle, lose body fat. It's got training advice, nutrition advice, everything that you need to know so you can get rid of all the conflicting information and just double down and put your focus on what actually works. If you want access to that, just head to my Instagram, link in the bio. Drop me a message with like fat loss guide or whatever that is, mate, and I will send that straight over to you. But I appreciate you listening. Drop a like on the video as well. Send this over to somebody, because if you know someone right now in your circle, in your friends group, maybe it's your partner, it's your parents, whatever it is, you know they're struggling with this and you think this video can help them, please send it to them, because it could make a world of a difference.